Have you ever wondered about the amazing properties of healing gemstones? Or did you even know that they had amazing properties? They're more than just pretty to look at. Well, welcome to tonight's episode on Nature's Mysteries Medicine Show. Tonight's episode 35, and we're talking about the healing properties of gemstones. This is the last episode in our alternative therapies series that we've had for the whole month of December. And I hope everyone had happy holidays and that, you're kind of having this week between Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas, and New Year's to just kind of like take it down a notch and relax a little bit after all the prep of getting ready for the holidays and everything. And I hope everyone had happy holidays. I'm Michelle Wildflower. I am the Director of Education at Nature's Mysteries Academy of Holistic Health. I'm also the founder and formulator for Nature's Mysteries Apothecary. And we're actually having a big sale going on right now at the school. We're having 30% off our 12-week holistic health practitioner program. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but just to let you know, that might be some savings that you might want to take advantage of. And this evening, like I said, we're going to talk about gemstone therapy, so let's just jump right in there and get started. So what we're talking about this evening are semi-precious gemstones. And basically, there's precious gemstones, which are like diamonds, and then there's semi-precious gemstones, which would be like Herkimer diamonds or clear quartz crystals or amethyst, lapis, gemstones like that. And everyone, understands the beauty of them and the value for that reason. But I'm not sure if everyone is aware of the amazing healing properties that they have on our bodies. And for years, I made jewelry. And I would tell people, when they picked up a specific necklace or something like that, I'd say, and that actually is good for your heart or something like that. And people would kind of look at me like I was crazy and be like, do you believe it? And, I did believe it, but I wasn't really exactly sure. I couldn't exactly explain the mechanism of how it actually worked. But then I took a biofeedback class. Sorry, I was just trying to fix it a little bit. It seemed like it was a little off. So then I took a biofeedback class, and I learned that every living cell in our body is actually vibrating at its own frequency. So, remember when I was a kid, I don't know how old you are, but if you're around my age, then when we were kids and the Beach Boys had a song, Good Vibrations, and basically it's true, we all are kind of vibrating at our own vibration or frequency. Now it seems like the more common word is frequency that's used. And that's why sometimes, you might meet someone and you say that they rub you the wrong way or something like that. And it's basically like your guys' energy just doesn't blend, To you, for some reason, that person might feel kind of like how distortion sounds, And then other people, when we meet them, we just automatically feel a connection with them, and we feel really good when we're with them and just like so happy and joyful, and just like the time spent with them we really look forward to, because those people's energy and our energy actually combines and gets along really well and resonates together, right? So stones, just like people, have their own vibration to them, just like plants, trees, everything pretty much has its own vibration or frequency to it. Anything that has any living cells vibrating inside of it, because they're all vibrating at their own frequency. So when we bring those other plants, in this show we're talking about minerals, gemstones, into our energy field, it will affect our vibration. Is this making sense to you? You can type sense in the comments if this is making sense to you. Or type woo if it sounds like woo to you. But it's actually scientifically proven. So there's Kirlian photography that we know of now, and that can actually film your aura, your auric field around your body, which is the energy around you, that if you were healthy, it could be projecting about 3 feet in either direction all around you like a bubble. And we know now, because you can see what your aura looks like with Kirlian photography, that if you bring in a stone or a plant or something like that, it will actually change. So we know that this is actually affecting our energetic field and our frequency. So each gemstone actually has a specific part of our body. It might have more than one, but it definitely has a specific part of our body that it affects. Some of them might be better for our thyroid, some are good for our heart, some are good for our brain. So if we take the time to explore the universal healing properties of crystals, especially if you're someone who's experienced some blockages or some kind of physical ailment that has seemed like it's been hard for you to overcome with conventional methods. Maybe it's some kind of energetic healing that you're in need of. Maybe there's some kind of layers of, maybe trauma or conflict or any number of reasons that you could be experiencing symptoms on the emotional or mental realm that can actually affect you in the physical realm. And so a way that we can use gemstones for healing is we can either wear them. You could wear them as a necklace, or a bracelet or something like that. Earrings, anything, any type of jewelry that you were wearing would be affecting your vibration, right? Because it would be in your energy field. So anything that you're bringing into your energetic field is going to affect your frequency, right? So depending on which stone it is either going to affect your vibration by bringing it up and giving you a higher frequency, or it could affect your vibration by lowering it a little bit. And like, when would we want to lower our vibration? Maybe if you were like very stressed out and like you felt like all these endorphins were running through and adrenaline, and maybe you're experiencing adrenal fatigue or something like that, then that would be someone who actually would want to be lowering their energy. I know a lot of times for a lot of folks, they feel like they're low energy and they're trying to increase their energy. So, there's different ailments and symptoms that people experience in different, careers that we have and family life and everything. So the beauty of it is that we could use different crystals at different times of the day, because maybe sometimes we need to higher our frequency a little bit, and because we need more energy, and then sometimes we need to take it down because we're having a hard time relaxing and just winding down and calming down and just feeling that sense of peace, or when you're at ease, So I have a couple crystals here that I wanted to talk about. First, I wanted to start with rose quartz, and this is a rose quartz crystal sphere. And rose quartz is really amazing for our heart. It's also good for grief. So the electro frequency of our heart is actually 60 times greater than our brain. So the rose quartz, bringing that into your energy field and like placing it on your chest or something like that, can actually lower the vibration of your heart and help to align it with your brain. And when you align your heart and your brain in that moment, it can actually help to ease anxiety, help to promote deeper sleep. So it's definitely, if you're someone who's anxious or having issues sleeping and you don't want to turn to synthetic molecules or medications, then these are some things that you can do. And like I said, you could either wear it, or I have like just a little rose quartz tumbled stone. You could like put it under your pillow, or you could put it close to your bed if you didn't have like any jewelry that was rose quartz that you were going to wear. You could either bring it like into your bedroom if you were going to try to use it to help you sleep, or if you had gone through the loss of a loved one and you wanted to try to help ease grief and trauma, then you could, like say if you had like a little pocket in your shirt, you could tuck it in your little pocket right there and it would be affecting your heart. You could put it on your nightstand next to your bed, and that would also be affecting your vibration. I have, you know, and it doesn't matter. I have like a piece of rose quartz that's raw that you could use, or you could use one that's tumbled, or you could use like, you know, a point when they make a tower or a spear. It doesn't really matter what, you know, size or shape it is, because, you know, like if you were trying to use a crystal but you didn't have like a whole beautiful crystal, you just had a piece of, like, you know, say a Herkimer diamond or something like that, it doesn't matter if it was a piece or the whole one, because they have the same energy, right? So whether it's a piece or a whole beautiful crystal, it's gonna have the same energy as clear quartz. That was easy for me to say, as clear quartz, because clear quartz has its own frequency to it. So whether it's a little piece or in a beautiful shape and form and size, it's still going to have that effect on your body. So if you didn't have a beautiful crystal but you did have, you know, a piece of one, that would work just as fine. And what you should do before you use a crystal for any kind of healing, because stones can carry, you know, energy attached to them, is to make sure that you cleanse your crystal. And there's different ways that you can cleanse crystals. You could either use like a smudge stick and, you know, just kind of go around the crystal, or you could put it on a plate and have, take the smudge stick and just roll it around it. You could do it with sound, where if you had a singing bowl and you put the crystal inside the singing bowl, and then either, you know, going around it or striking it, either way. Sound is another way to cleanse a crystal. Putting it under the moonlight, you could always do that, or like a specific planetary alignment, like on the winter solstice, I put all my crystals out because it was a good time to set your intention, and so I put them all out by the window. And a lot of crystals you actually wouldn't want to keep in the window for extended periods of time, you know, like in the sun or something like that, because it could actually cause them to get brittle and dry out. So ideally, you know, because they're really from deep within the earth, right? So ideally, some crystals might be okay to keep in a window, but you wouldn't keep like clear quartz crystals or like amethyst. Some crystals actually, if kept in the sun, will start fading and losing their color, but that's like, you know, information for a different episode. So some say that putting a Herkimer diamond under your pillow actually helps with dream recall. So that's another option. Like I said, if you didn't have jewelry that you were going to wear, you could just bring it into your space, and that would affect your frequency as well. Or, you know, as I said, with planetary alignments like the solstice, or if it was like a full moon, or some kind of, you know, like we just had an eclipse, it could be something like that. So each planetary alignment has some kind of energy to it, and if you were to place your crystals that you wanted to use for healing and infuse them, it would just bring their potential for healing that much higher. So the rose quartz, like we said, is good for your heart. You could place it right on your heart. You could also carry it with you if you had that tumbled stone, or you didn't have a piece of jewelry. You could carry a tumbled stone with you, or a crystal in your pocket or something like that. And then wearing a gemstone on your skin can also aid in balancing the chakras and helping to release energy. So the next one I wanted to talk about is lapis. And people know of lapis for a lot of its spiritual purposes. It helps to, you know, kind of like open up your third eye. But physically, what it helps with, if you put it on your brow, it actually helps to relieve tension, and as well as like headaches and anxiety. So if you were feeling anxious, you could just kind of lay back and place that right, you know, or if you were laying on your side, and then you could just put it on your temple, and it definitely will affect your vibration. If you complement the use of gemstones with herbs, that always brings it to a higher potential as well. But again, it's not something that you have to do. And amethyst was the last one that I wanted to talk about. And this is amethyst. It actually has been in the window, so it's not as dark as it could be. But I try to keep it with like its back to the window, so maybe it wouldn't dye it as much. But I like to have crystals in the windows sometimes. So, but actually, amethyst helps to quiet your mind. So if you were, trying to use it for sleep or something like that, if you were someone who was experiencing insomnia or any kind of sleep issues, then you could try to put some next to your bedside. Or like I said, if you had a tumbled stone or something like that, you could put it under your pillow. And it also helps, it's known for to be immune boosting, and it also helps with migraines. So if you were someone who suffered from headaches or migraines, lapis and amethyst would be two that would be a great addition to add to your any kind of symptom management when you were trying to deal with those migraines or headaches. So, what do you think about everything that I've been saying? Does it make sense to you? I mean, I think it's pretty cool to just know that we could just use stones to affect energy in our body and get it moving, whether whether it's raising our vibration or frequency or lowering it, or, just bringing on a sense of ease and calm. Either way, whether it's emotional or physical health, it's just wonderful to know that these are some options that we have. And that's what we were talking about this whole month in our alternative therapy series, so that when folks are prescribed some kind of medication that has debilitating side effects, they can explore other options that might be just as helpful, if not even better, because there is no debilitating side effects, which, those are really direct effects. They're not side effects. They're direct effects on our bodies. So if we could find a safer way that we can manage symptoms without, like damaging our liver or causing suicidal thoughts or brain bleeding or any of those other numerous side effects that those medications can cause, then we're going to be better off for it. And if there's ever any way that, if we're battling an illness and we can have our immune system be the one that beats it as opposed to a synthetic molecule, then that's just going to make us stronger for it, right? Right. So we talked about rose quartz and how it's good for your heart, and how lapis is good for any kind of tension or anxiety. You can put it right on your brows. Amethyst helps to promote a deep sleep and helps with migraines. And those are some ideas for you that you can now, if you weren't familiar with the amazing properties of gemstones, hopefully we gave you some ideas, and now you can just go down some rabbit holes and find, maybe you have some gemstones in your house that you didn't realize had these amazing properties, and you can look them up and see what properties they have and how they could help you. I mean, there's ones that affect your thyroid, there's ones that are like blood cleansers. It's just, there's one protective that can, just help if you're going into a situation that makes you feel uneasy. It can just make you feel a little protected. So gemstones are there for us in many different ways to use them, more than just being beautiful and for bling, right? So thank you so much for joining us. If this is something that you're interested in exploring more of, you can join us in our 12-week Holistic Health Practitioner program. We're learning all about 33 different herbs, plants, mushrooms, lichen, bark, seaweed. So it's not just plant medicine that we're exploring, and we're learning not only how to use those herbs as medicine, but we're also exploring how to grow, how to harvest, store, prepare, and apply them, as well as what conditions they relieve and what healing properties they have and what actions that they have on our body. There's over 150 recipes, and we're accredited with the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. So upon completion of our 12-week Holistic Health Practitioner program, you can apply to the American Association of Drugless Practitioners to become a board-certified Holistic Health Practitioner. How cool would that be? what do you have to look forward to for next year? Is there anything that you're really looking forward to that you're just feeling like so psyched about? Maybe you need to sign up for the course, and we'd love to have you join us. We have a 30% off sale, like I said, right now. We also have payment plan options available to fit your needs. We also have scholarships, BIPOC scholarships, and partial scholarships available. So there's no better time than now to sign up and turn your passion into your profession. And like I said, we'd love to have you join us. And we hope everyone has a wonderful and safe, happy new year. We thank you for being here this evening and taking the time to learn alternative therapies for your health and symptom management. And we will look forward to seeing you next year. Take care.